Everyone, welcome to into our part 2 of Directus blog application, and in this video we will move on and we'll be developing our collections which we need to manage our blog application, right? So this is our Directus instance which we have configured so far, and the email is same, right? And the password is like admin123 and let's sign in, and we are into our Directus instance. And the previous video we have done so far is that we have just customized our Redress instance and we have just extended our user collection with some of the custom attributes, right? But today we will move on and we will develop the rest of the collections which we need, right? So that is present in my docmost instance, right? And when you come to my YouTube section and into my project, here we will be coming and we will be building the rest of the collections, right? Which is this post collection, right? So without wasting our time, let's jump in and create our post collection. And for post, we will be needing title, content, we'll be having our cover image, status, and then we are having some of the relations with our author and tags, right? So let's move on. So let's go to our post collection and into our director's data model. Let's create a collection and let's name it as post, right? And I always go with generated UID for my IDs, right? And let's go to next, and I need all my these system fields, and let's click OK, and this will create the very first post collection, right? And now over here, we need the title of the post, right? So let's go with input, and this will be my title, which will be of type string, and this must be required, right? Because a title without a title, a post is meaningless, right? So let's save this thing, and this is our title, which is required, and then we will be having our content as well. And for content, I will go with this VC thing right over here, which will have the capability to, add extra headings, images, and videos if you like to do that, right? So for VC we will call it as the content of the post, and this is also required because without content, the post is meaningless, right? So let's save this thing. So we are having a title and content, which is required, right? And moving on, if you come to my documentation, you can see that I also need a cover image for my post as well as a status and the rest of the relations, right? So let's create our cover image. So let's create a field, and this time it will be image, and let's call it as cover underscore image, right? And this is not required, obviously, because the user cannot provide the image if they want. And I will go with the default option. So let's save this thing for now, and this will be our image, right? And moving on, I think we need status as well. Now, status will be a drop down, which will be having three key attributes, which will be draft, published, and archived. But for simplicity, I will just keep it as like unpublished. Okay, it's unpublished as well as published, right? So these will be only two key attributes which I will be keeping, right? So let's go to our collection. Let's create a field, and this time it will be a drop-down field, and I will be creating the status of my post, and let's create some of the choices. The very first choice will be unpublished, or let's call it as draft for now. Okay, and it's a draft, and it is the value will also be draft, and you can choose icon for that. I will go with maybe sort of a different icon, maybe this one like this. Okay, it's an article, and we can keep the color as maybe a pinkish color. Okay, and let's save this thing. So there's a draft, and the second will be the published, right? And I will keep the value as same. And let me see if there is a check icon over here, and I will mark this as maybe green color. Okay, and let's save this thing, right? So we'll be having two choices. One will be draft and the other one will be published, right? And I think we are good to go for now. So let's save this thing, and this will give us our status attribute, right? And moving on, I think we need a relation with our authors and tags as well. But before going into relations, obviously we need our tags collection as well as authors. Now authors are obviously the writer's choices, right? So we can build that collection right now. Not the collection but the relation, right? So but moving on, let's cover this one, which is published at, because we need to track when the blog was or the post was published, right? So let's go and create a field, and this time I will call it as a datetime field, and let's call it as published, published, published at, right? And I think rest of the things can be as it is. So let's save this thing, and we are good to go, right? Now moving on, let me see if there is anything left. Yeah, so updated at is something which can be tracked by the system fields, right? And the field which I'm talking about is this one, which is that user updated or date updated, right over here. Okay, by which I can track that when the post was updated, right? So no need to build that. But yeah, reading time is something which we need to track, and this should be reading time in minutes, right? So it should be something like this, and let's create that field as well. So come over here, let's create a field, and this time it should be an input field, but reading underscore time underscore minutes, right? but this should be of type, I would say, integer. And moving on, the minimum value should at least be 1, because 0 minutes reading time will not make a sense, right? So let's save this thing and we are good to go for now. And let's see if there is anything else left. And I think apart from the relations, which are these author and tags relation, rest of the things are covered, right? So we will be building relations once we create all the collections. So we will be building the relations at the end of this video, if we have some time left, right? So yeah, let's move on to our tags collection right over here and let's build that. And now for tag, I think you can keep the name, or if you want a slug, you can do that as well. But I will be just going with the name attribute, right? So let's go to our post collection over here. And I think before moving to tags, we can just give some of different settings to this post collection. And let's give it a note. And let's say these are the posts, I would say, written by users, right? And this should be written by users, something like this. And for the icon, let's go with something, maybe a different one. Let's say article, if there is an article icon, or maybe something different. Let's find out. So I think maybe something, a book type of thing, if there is a book. So I will be going with this icon, okay, which is library books, which gives sort of a, I would say, image of those posts and blogs, right? And for color, let's go with the purplish color for this. And the display template, let's keep this as the title of the post. And the rest of the features are as it is. We don't need to change anything else over here. So let's just save this thing. And I think our post collection is ready. Now you can come over here and you can, just create the post with the required items. You can provide the title, content, cover image, status, published at, and reading time, right? And again, I won't be creating any post for now. I think this will work fine. Now let's move on to our tags collection, right? So this is the fun part. So let's go to our data model and let's create a tag collection. Let's call it as tags. And I will go with UID. Let's save this thing and let's keep all the system fields. Let's save this thing. And in the tags, I just will be having a name attribute, which will get name of the tag. And I will keep this as required, right? And let's save this thing. And our tags collection is ready, right? And for moving on, let's say, let's give it a note as well. So the tags, which can be used by users in their blogs, right? And for the icon, let's see if there is something like a tag over here. And I think this should work fine, which will give you a tag like image. And for the color, let's go with the yellow color and let's save this thing. And we are having our tags as well, right? Now if you come to our collection right over here, which is our content, you can see that we are having our tags, and we can go and create tags by providing the name of the tags, right? So moving on, let's come back to our documentation. And again, the tags will be having the relation with our post collection right over here. But again, we will be building our relations at the end of the video, right? So let's move on. Let's go with the comments. And in the comments, you can see that we're having a relation between our post collection as well as with the authors, which are Directus users. And then we will be having the main content of the comment and the rest of the fields, right? So let's create the content field and we will be building our relations at the end. So let's come to our data studio. Let's go to data model. Let's call it as comments. And let's keep the generative UID for my ID. Let's go next. Let's keep all the system fields active. Let's click OK. And we are having our comments collection. The only thing we need for now is just the content of the comment. So let's create a field. Let's go input field. And let's say this is our content of the comment. And I think this should be required because without a content, a comment is meaningless, right? And let's save this thing right now. And we are having our comments collection as well, which is built in, and we can give a note to it. So let's call it as these are uh, comments written by users against the post, right? And this is good to go. And let's see if there is any comment icon. I think this should work fine for now. This is the comment icon. And for the color, we can go with something different, maybe like this bluish color. Okay, and let's save this thing. And regarding, yeah, one thing I have left in I would say in tags is that we need a display template for this as well. So we can use the name of the, I would say, tag. And I think this was also left on in our comment section as well. And for the comments, I can use a display template as the content of the comment. And let's save this thing, right? So I think we're good to go for now. And if you come to my content section, you can see that I'm having comments at the top. Okay, and now we can also change the order accordingly, and I don't like the order which currently is being used, right? So I want the posts to be at the top and then the comments and tags, right? And you can easily change the order by coming into settings, data model, and just drag and drop. So let's move the post at the top and the comments maybe at the last and the tags in this middle, right? So this should work fine for now, and this is what the orders look like right now, which is, I would say, much more meaningful, right? And now moving on to our bookmark section. So bookmark is just a relation between the user and the post which he or she has bookmarked, right? And there is nothing else over here. So let's just create the bookmarks collection. There is no attribute required for now. And so let's go to our settings and data model, and let's create our bookmarks over here, which is bookmarks, right? And let's keep the UUID for this, and let's go to next, and let's keep all the system fields active, and let's save this thing, and we are good to go with our bookmarks collection right over here. And we can give it a note. So let's say it's bookmarks of the users, right? And we can provide an icon and maybe something like a book over here, or let's say this one right over here, which is collections bookmark, right? And then we can give it a color of maybe something like a whitish color. Okay, and let's save this thing. Okay, and one more thing is left is that we need to provide a display template. For display template, I don't think there is an attribute we can use for that, so let's ignore it for now. Okay, so this is our bookmark, right? So our bookmark is ready. You can come over here, you can see over here, and again, there is nothing we can do with the bookmarks, because bookmarks is sort of just a relation, okay, between, I would say, post and user, right? And we'll be building relations at the end, right? So I think, yeah, that's all from creating our collection. So we are having our post, our tags, our comments, and our bookmarks, right? And regarding the authors will be all the users which will be, using our application, right? So that's the whole, I would say, agenda, right? Now let's go and create the relations between these. So let's start with our post relation, right? So the very first thing is that we will be having a relation of, I would say, post with the authors, and this will be many to one, right? So let me come to my eraser.io and let's explain the relations over here. Let me just spin up a whiteboard over here and let's clear all the screen. And over here, so we are having, let's say, our, I would say, users, right? And then we will be having our post collection right over here, okay? Share post, right? Now we all know that this post is something a user can have multiple posts, right? So if I draw the arrow something like this, so it will be one from here and many from here, which will be our star, right? So this will be something like this. And but on the reverse side, on the opposite side, what this will be, that this will be something like this, that many posts will be belonging to a single user, right? Because there will not be such a case in which one post can belong to multiple users, right? So this is one to many from, I would say, user side, and many to one from, I would say, post side, right? That's how this relationship will be, right? So let's come into our Directus Data Studio and let's go into our post collection right over here, which is in settings and Directus data model. So let's come to this post relation right over here, and this is where we will be, building the relation, right? So many posts can belong to a single user, and this is where we can go create a field, and let's find as many to one, because many posts can belong to a single user, right? And this is where I like to keep things over here. But whenever I'm building relations, I always come to this over here, which is saying that continue in advanced field creation mode. And I think I have covered this in the previous series as well, in the previous videos, because this is where you will get the whole, I would say, gist of the collection you want to build, right? So let's click on this, and I would be naming the key as the like authors, right? And this will be the authors. And again, moving on to relationship section here, this is where your relationship will look like. Okay, so this is saying that this collection, which is post, will be having the relations of authors with which collection right over here, and here I have to mention the collection. And for our authors, we know that those will be just the directors users, right? So let's click on this, and this will be, let's find to system collection, and let's go to directors users, and this is something which will look something like this, right? So many posts over here can belong to a single user, which will be pointing to as a foreign key to the ID of the directors users table, right? And on the reverse side, we also need a one-to-many collection from the Directus users as well. So it is saying right over here. So I have to check this one, and it will automatically, create a relationship of one-to-many from Directus users back to our post collection right over here. Okay. And regarding the field name, the post looks something very much fine for me. And I think regarding the on delete, I want the fields of authors to be nulled, and I think that will make sense for me. And apart from that, there is one thing which I like to keep, which is going into interface and providing a display template. And for display template, I will just be using, let's say, the first name and the last name of the user, right? And that will make more sense. Okay. And regarding anything else, I think rest of the things is looking fine. And just into the rated values, I think okay, for now I don't want this thing. And I think the rest of the things look fine for me. Okay. And yeah, just save this thing. And I think this will give you the relation of, I would say, many to one from our post back to our directors users, right? And if you come to our, now this to our content section right over here, and if you go into post collection and if you create an item and scroll down, you can see that we are having author section in which you can click and assign all the authors which are directors users, right? And again, you can see that I can select the admin user, which is right now only a single user which we are having in our Directus instance, right? And that looks cool to me. And even if you go to our users collection over here, and if you click on this thing, you can scroll down, and here you can see that one user can be having many posts. So I can, just create a new or add existing post right over here, and I can select multiple posts, right? So that's how the relationship will work. Okay. So this was our relation between, I would say, the users as well as the post, right? Which is this one right over here, authors, right? Now let's go and create rest of the relations, which will be our this tag relations. And regarding the tags and the post, so this will be a many to many relation, right? And let me explain that by my whiteboard. So if I just remove this, so this will be, let's say, our posts, right? And this will be our tags for now. And regarding the relations between these two, what this will be that we know that one post can use multiple tags, right? And tags can be maybe something like web development or something like those, right? So I know that one post can use multiple tags. That's where I would say it's one-to-many relation, right? But a single tag can also be used in multiple posts as well, right? So if you look from the tags back to our post side, which is the reverse side, this will also be a one-to-many, right? So if you type one and into many right over here, which is something like this again. So it is a post. From post to tags, it's a one-to-many, and from tags to post, it is also a one-to-many. So this is where, when you are getting a one-to-many from both the sides, this is where you have to convert this relation into a many-to-many relation, right? Which will be that junction collection, right? And again, we won't be creating that junction collection. Directus will help us out for that, right? The only thing we have to mention is the many-to-many relationship, right? So let's jump into our Directus Data Studio and let's go to our settings and data model. And again, you can create a many-to-many relation from both the sides. I will go with the tags right over here and let's create a new field. And this time we will select a many-to-many relation, select over this. And again, let's go to our advanced field creation mode where we will be, creating that relation, right? For viewing all the, I would say, bigger picture of that relation, right? So this will be our post, right? So post, right? Because we will be creating a relation of tags with the post. And again, when you come to relationship, this is where you will get the whole diagram of that relationship, right? So this is this collection, which is tags, and tags ID will be pointing to this junction collection right over here. And this will be your related collection because you have to mention the relation by which you are, creating that many-to-many relationship, right? So let's select on this, and this time we'll be selecting our post collection right over here because tags will be having a many-to-many relationship between post, and this is where Directus is telling you that it will go and create the junction collection for you, in which it will be tags underscore post, and this ID will be pointing to tags ID, and this ID will be pointing to our post ID right over here. Okay. Again, this autofill is checked, but if you uncheck this, you can also, I would say, name your table and the attributes based on your own needs, but I am good with the default one, right? So let's keep it as autofill. And regarding our corresponding folds, I also want to have a many-to-many relationship from post to tags as well. So I will check this one, and I am okay with the attribute name as well. And I think we are good to go for now. And if you just scroll down, and over here you can see that it's saying that this is something which will be built right in your data model. You'll be having post dot tags and tags underscore post, which will be your junction collection, and inside your tags underscore post you will be having post ID and tags ID, right? So this is how Director is telling you that under the hood it will go and create all these things for you, right? So I'm good with all these. So let's just save this thing and it will go and magically create all the relation for you, right? So if you come into tags, you can see that now we are having a many-to-many relationship with our post. But if you go one step back and if you just go into post collection, you can see that here we are also having a relationship of our post with our tags, which is a many-to-many relationship, right? And for maintaining this, you can see that Directus has created this junction table, which is over here, which is tags underscore post. And again, this is hidden because we don't want that to be displayed on our content section. Rather, it's just for maintaining that many-to-many relationship between your post and tags, right? And when you click on this, you can see we're having our tags ID pointing back to tags and our post ID pointing back to our post as a foreign key, right? So now you can come to our content section, right? And you can come over here, you can just create a new post. And over here, if you scroll down, you can see that you can provide multiple tags over here again, if you want to. And if you go back from our tags, you can also come over here and you can provide multiple posts which are using the same tag, right? So this is how we are keeping a many to many relation, right? So yeah, I think we are done with the tags part as well. And now let's move on and build the rest of the relations. Now let's build the rest of the, I would say, relations. So let's come to our comments collection, and inside comments, you can see that we are having two relations, right? One is for the post and one is for the author, right? Now let's first discuss the collection comments and the relation with the post, right? So let's come to our diagram, and this is our post collection right over here, and this will be now having the relation with our comments, right? Let me just remove this thing from here and this thing from here and this thing from here, right? And now if you just look over here, you can see from the diagram that one post can have many comments, right? So there can be multiple users which can come and write their comments on a single post, right? So one post can have multiple comments, right? But from comments to post, I know that there will not be such a scenario in which one comment will be belonging to multiple posts, right? So in that case, I know that a single comment can only be specific to a single post at a time, right? So from the reverse side, it will be many to one, right? So one to many from our, I would say, post to comments, but from right to left, it's again many to one, right? In that case, we have to just go and build that relation, okay? So we'll be building a many to one relation from our comments side back to our post, right? And now let's go to our Redress Data Studio and let's go to our settings, data model, and inside our comments, we'll be creating a many to one relation back to our post, right? So let's create a field and let's select many to one from here again. And let's go to our advanced field creation mode. And since we know that many comments will be belonging to a single post, so this will be post, right? And then inside our relationship, we will be selecting the related collection, right? So this related collection will be something like our, so post will be having the relation back to our, sorry, this will be our post collection right over here, something like this, okay? So we know that inside our collection comments, there will be a relation of post, which will be acting as a foreign key pointing back to the related collection, which is of post, right? And again, if you want a one to many relation from, I would say, post back to our this comments, you can do that as well. So just click on this one, and this is the comments thing right over here, which I'm good with. And you can just save this thing, and this will go and build the relation, right? So inside comments, you can see that you're having a many to one relation back to our posts. But when you go from the post side, so if you go back and come to post, you can see that you will be having a one to many relationship with comments, right? So one post can have many comments, and that's how you are building the relation, right? And now if you come to our content section, go into post, you can see if you create the item, you can see that you can mention many comments right over here. And if you come to our comment side, you can see that while creating the comment, you have to mention that for which post you have to, you are writing the comment for, right? And that's how we are building that relation, right? And I think same goes with this author thing as well, right? So while writing that comment, we also need to track which author or user is writing that comment, right? And again, for that relation, if you come over here and if you just, keep the user over here, I know that one user can write multiple comments at a time, but that comment will be specific to a user, right? There will not be a use case in which a single comment will be belonging to multiple users, right? So it will be a one to many from left to right, but from right to left, it will always be a many to one, right? So we can go into comments and create that many to one relation back to our user, which will be our Directus users, right? So let's go into our Directus Data Studio and let's go to our settings. Inside data model, we will be going into our comments collection, and then we will be creating a relation of many to one back to our Directus users, right? So let's go to advanced field creation mode, and this time it will be authors for now. Let me make it capital. So it will be something like authors, and then in the relationship field, we have to select Directus user. So we'll come to a system, and inside system, we will be selecting our Directus users right over here. Okay, so this collection will be having authors foreign key, which will be pointing back to our Directus users, right? And we will also be having a one-to-many relationship from our users to this comments collection as well. So I will be checking this one, and I am good with this comments thing right over here. Okay, and just save this thing, and we are good to go, right? And now in our comments collection, you can see that we are having many to one back to our authors, right? And if you go back and just search for that system collection back to our Directus users, you can see right over here, you are having also a one-to-many relationship from Directus user back to comments, right? And that's how we have built that relation. And again, you can view that in the content section as well. If you come to our content and in the comments, if you create that one, you can see that now we also have to provide or select the author for which we are writing that comment for, okay? And if you go into Redress users, so let's go to users right over here. And if you scroll down, you can see that you have to select all the comments which this user has written for any post, right? And that's how this relation is working, right? And that is the overall summary of this comments relationship, right? And now I think the only thing left is this bookmarks collection right over here. So let's jump in and finalize our this bookmarks collection with all the relations that we require, right? And I know that the video is getting very much lengthy, but we have to finalize this, right? So let's jump in. So regarding the bookmarks, what we have to do is we are seeing that this bookmarks will be pointing. It is some ways similar to this comments collection right over here, in which while creating a bookmark, we have to mention the user relation and the post relation. Okay, so let's come in, and this time it will be our user, which will be having our bookmarks, right? So this will be bookmarks, right? And now we know that a single user can have multiple bookmarks, right? But there will not be a use case in which a single bookmark can belong to multiple users, right? So from left to right, it will always be one to many, but from right to left, it will always be many to one, right? So what we can do is we can just go into bookmarks and can create a relationship of many to one back to our users, right? So let's jump into our Redress Studio. Let's go into settings. Let's go to bookmarks and let's create a field. And this will be many to one back to our Directus user. So advanced field creation mode, right? And then this will be our authors, right? So let me keep it as authors again, and in relationship we can just select right over here, which will be our system collection and Directus users, right? And this will be something like this. So this collection bookmarks will be having authors as a foreign key pointing back to our Directus users collection, right? And we also want a relationship of one to many from users, so it will be add one to many, and we're good to go. And let's save this thing, right? And again, now you guys have been used to, right? So without wasting our time, let's do the same thing with our this post right over there. So bookmark and post, right? So if I just keep post over here, so I know that one post can be having multiple bookmarks, right? Single post can be used into multiple bookmarks, and from bookmarks we know that a single bookmark can only contain a single post, right? There will not be a bookmark in which one bookmark can be having multiple posts, right? So in that case, it will always be a many to one from right to left, right? And for that, I only have to come to that Data Studio to bookmarks, just to create a field back from many to one. So many bookmarks can only have a single, I would say, post, right? So many to one, and let's go to advanced field creation mode, and this time it will be post, right? And the relationship, we will just select posts over here. Okay, so this collection bookmarks will be having a post as a foreign key pointing back to our post collection, right? And from post, we also need one to many, so we'll select this one and just save this thing, and we are good to go, right? So this is, I think, it for now, because we have created all the required relations for managing our blog applications. And again, this time you might be getting a little more sense of the data model which we have created, right? So if you come to post, if you create this, we will be having title, content, cover image, status, published at, reading time, and the author of the post. And again, this post will be using multiple tags, so we can select multiple tags. This post will be having multiple comments, so we can have multiple comments. And then this post can also belong to multiple bookmarks, right? So multiple users can come and bookmark this post for reading it later. So that can also be done over here. And then regarding tags, if you come to tags, you can see that a tag can be used in multiple posts, so we can select multiple posts over here, right? And when you come to comment sections, if you create the comment, you have to mention what comment you are writing, and then for which post you are writing, and by which user this comment has been written for, right? Sorry, by written by. Okay, so which user has written that comment, right? And this is making much more sense now. And regarding the bookmarks, you can come and create over here, and you can mention which author you are creating the bookmark for, and for which post you are creating the bookmark for, right? So this is making much more sense now again. So in the coming on video, I know that this video has been a lot more lengthy, but in the coming on video, we will be using the same data model. We will be creating some of the test records, and we will be using their APIs, Directus APIs, to interact with the same data model which we have created right now. And then once we are comfortable with their data APIs, we can use REST, GraphQL, or SDK, whatever we are comfortable with. I will be going with the GraphQL because it is much more simpler to use as compared to REST, right? So we will be using GraphQL for that. And once we are comfortable with that, then we will go and build our this security model right over here, in which we will be restricting users based on their roles, right? And this is where we will be creating our access policies, right? So yeah, I think that's it from now. The video has been quite lengthy, but it was worth a try, right? So yeah, thanks for watching and see you in the next video, which is our Directus part 3.